Alright, now that I've spent and the last couple evenings playing it, having beaten several but not all of the games on there, I definitely intend to go through them with each character as well. So, I give you my thoughts on the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, and I will be addressing each game that's featured on it, so let's begin. On top of featuring 6 of the previous fighting games that have crossed over with these IPs, is it's actually notable for featuring the first time home console release of the 1993 Punisher arcade game, which features both Frank Castle and Nick Fury, stopping Wilson Fisk, better known as the Kingpin, and yes, I can definitely tell that was a game that came out right before the rating system, given how there's quite a few bloody takedowns, and also the fact that even the track screen they kept the canon event of Frank declaring like a one-man war against crime, and the people ruining his life after they killed his family in broad daylight. Right? And it also has instinctively a Eastern infusion. I mean, any game where you're fighting giant robots and a belt scroller is alright with me. It's definitely in keeping with like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, and Capcom's own Final Fight titles, which have been increasingly found out to be in the same pixel universe as Street Fighter. How about that? Okay, so the fighter games are led off by 1994's X-Men and Children of the Atom, and just in time for the 30th anniversary of the game. How about that? Features a multitude of characters in the long-running comic. Like I say, it contains deep and satisfying gameplay even to this day. I especially like how it builds on ideas established in Street Fighter 2, especially in the case of the custom combo system that you chain attacks on the fly. That's entirely impossible to juggle an opponent Wolverine's claws or Cyclops' optic blasts. Even featuring lesser known characters like Omega Red and Silver Samurai in there, which is something I'll be talking about throughout the games featured in this collection. 1995 saw the release of Marvel Superheroes, which takes elements from the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, even letting you enhance your character's abilities with the different Infinity Gems in battle. Yeah, you have to actually beat the game on normal or turbo setting in order to get the real ending and the full 8 matches, but I will say that I'm not going to hold it against you if you practice in auto mode to figure out who's your main and who's your backup main. Those you play at home, your main fighter is basically the one you go right to first chance you get, and your backups are who you use in the off chance your main's not available or you want to try someone different. The crossovers began in earnest with X-Men vs. Street Fighter 1996. The use of team-up moves and tag battle characters able to set the stage for further crossovers. And even though the track screen had Cyclops and Ryu doing the Predator-esque handshake, I tend to main Wolverine and Ken in that one primarily. Of course, if they're going to go through the rest of the roster for 100% completion, of course. The crossover scale kept expanding further with 1997's Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and definitely enjoy how even in this installment they're able to blend in the big names of the roster, such as Chun-Li and Gambit, with characters that arguably aren't as well known. Oh, and I mean, I'm not the most familiar with Blackheart, but I will include him in rotation, even though whenever they show up, my mains tend to always include Sakura, my favorite Street Fighter character, and Spider-Man. my favorite superhero ever. Yeah, and in 1998, the doors fully opened with Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. It was in 1998, which definitely saw a sizable amount of variety in the roster. Heard from not just Street Fighter, but all of Capcom's over up to that point. I mean, definitely, I still enjoy how much representation there is, which is especially true, and what's arguably, at least for me, the reason why I bought this, the biggest draw in the collection. 2000's beloved Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes. And to this day, the sheer amount of variety from both the Marvel and Capcom characters represented is wide reaching. Yes. I always like it how big names from both companies, such as Ryu and Spider-Man, can share a roster with more niche ones from them both, such as Captain Commando and the Shumo Gorath. I mean, of course, I have my mains, and I do try to shake things up a bit whenever I can. I don't just have obvious choices which got more well known in later years, such as Iron Man and Captain America, at least on the broader public, but also I'm known to include ones like Trombone from Mega Man Legends and Felicia from Darkstalkers as well, which definitely is a kind of amount of variety I'd like to see if another new installment is made. I would just make it like a direct sequel to the first three games in the main series that disregards the Last World Seed Infinite. And also, since the realism angle didn't exactly work out, a lot of people came out looking, at least initially, like mannequins that got left in the sun too long. I would just drop the realism angle and focus on stylization, and like how these games definitely try to fine line between the Japanese art direction and the more Western comic book stylings. And, and characters I would actually newly introduce to the roster, I would say for Capcom, my first choice is Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, complete with roundhouse kicking, special moves, and the Falcon, and for the Marvel side, at least of the bigger names, I could definitely see myself also not objecting to including the Miles Morales variant of Spider-Man in future installments, and even different variants of Mega Man, since usually like the classic X or Zero installments, which to be fair are the ones I tend to play the most, but even if I'm not into Battle Network or Star Wars as others, I think you could throw those sides a bone, maybe even use them kind of like in Deadpool and Wolverine to resolve storylines that never got a chance to be finished otherwise. Kind of like that, you know? Whether or not you're a newcomer or a true believer, this collection is definitely a must-own title on both Switch and PlayStation 4, which I definitely recommend picking up as soon as you can. And whatever happens in the future, I can definitely see myself enjoying these games for quite a bit. Whenever I saw these titles individually in arcades, I sunk considerable coin into them, and I still do. And I definitely, I'm also gonna be spending a lot of time practicing offline, especially given how when it came out in digital storefronts, people got wrecked online, but people have been playing ever since the 90s or the 2000s, including those in competitive circuits. Especially I thought I would get this out of the way first, given how much I love this collection, especially since some of the topics I have to talk about are not all going to be as gravy as this. So, that'll be all for now. Shall again soon. Excelsior.